me a couple moments that were the most important to you.
You know, the most important one for me, the most significant moment in my career was when I first tasted UFC gold. It was at UFC 189 in Las Vegas. I was supposed to face the current champion, Jose Aldo, but he pulled out 9 days before the bout with a broken rib. Someone threw a spinning back kick on him and broke his rib. It was more like a bruised rib. 2.5 weeks before my last fight, I threw a front kick at a shooting Moldovan wrestler. So a shooting wrestler is a guy who's shooting in on your legs. And when he shot and I threw the front kick, I threw it at his belly. And my two toes, the baby toe and the toe next to it, bent back like this and stuck in that position. My doctor, who's here with me now, had to come into the cage, stretch it, and break it back into place. My foot swelled like a balloon. That was 2.5 weeks.
But you were still ready to fight.
I wanted to compete, and I wanted to get in there. You know, one of the things I'm blessed with, I have many shots in my arsenal. I have many moves. I can box, I can kick. I have many different weapons in my arsenal. So that's a blessing and a curse. A blessing for the obvious. I can throw many moves. I can stifle an opponent. A curse because if I face a serious injury where I probably should have just settled it out and reset the match to a later date.
But your hunger made you go for it.
My hunger and my knowledge also that if I have one shot that's one limb that's gone, I have another 7 limbs. You know, the art of 8 limbs this is. So I can utilize other strikes in my arsenal.
Tell me about the last fight with Khabib, because I'm curious, were you prepared for that approach? Were you able to fight your fight? Tell me what you thought was different about that fight. I was there, by the way, and he literally jumped right in front of us. Literally a foot in front of me.
Well, at the end of the day, I landed the final blow of the night right on his brother's eye socket. So at the end of the day, although the match didn't go my way, the fight went my way. And trust me when I tell you, Tony, this war is not over. If this fight does not happen again, if it does not get reset, it's on them. They're running away. I'm here for the fight and here for the rematch. I know the errors. I know, like I said, the lapses in commitment that I've had in that bout. I know my mindset. There was a lot of external things. Obviously, the injury. The injury itself led me to I had to half my work. I couldn't road run anymore.
So you weren't as fully prepared.
I wasn't. My weight was too high. So when you're cutting weight, if I can't get my weight down because of injuries or whatnot, I have a more intense weight cut. So I was severely dehydrated. I didn't sleep for 48 hours before the weight cut.
Wow.
But these are all just nonsensical excuses.
What I love about you don't fucking give excuses.
I don't give a shit.
I know.
That's why I walked in there, hands down, ding, 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 and walked forward to him. And he went running away around the cage. He got lucky with that overhand right, dropped me. Well, didn't really drop me. I landed on the hand, but I kept my vision. My vision was clear. Backed away, jumped up, landed shots back. And then we engaged in a fist fight, and he took me down again. After landing such a significant shot, let's fight now. Instead, he was afraid and grabs a hold of the leg. But my whole approach in that camp, the injuries, the non-commitment.
Were you trying to?
The tactics. I attack. I am an attacker, and my attack defends. But in this camp, for some reason, the entire focus was defense.
That's what I heard.
So I was like, every round we would start in the training, I would have my back against the fence. I would have my back on the floor. And I would always put myself in a vulnerable position. And I became, throughout, as the camp went on, I just became defensive. That's never been what I do. It's like, what? Like, it irritates me to this day because, you know, the training partners that I trained with heavy people, 90 plus kilos. Like I told you, that Moldovan wrestler I broke my foot is like a horse.
Yes.
He's literally like a fucking human horse.
Yes.
And then I've got another an American Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion that trains with me. He was like 200 pounds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're big boys. But I was always on the defensive with them. And since the fight, I've gone back to train with them and went with my internal dialogue, not the external dialogue. The dialogue of, I can't grapple with this man because he's a Russian Sambo guy and he's wrestled bears since he's a kid and all this bullshit. That's external. I let the external infiltrate my internal, and it filtered into the fight. But after the bout, I went back and trained with these people and attacked, and I mauled them. So I'm just here waiting to continue to go and see where we can get with this situation with the UFC. and see, can we get this fight again, and let's go again. And that's where my...
So because you wrote the other day on Twitter, it was a couple of days ago that you were retiring. And so bottom line is you're retiring unless they give you your terms. Is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
I like that. Tell us how you made the deal to fight Money Mayweather. I mean, here's, you were taunting his ass. How'd you pull that off? And tell me what your thinking was about it to start with. Why'd you want to do it? What was your mindset? You made, what, $85 million in a fight? Not bad.
Give or take. We'll add a little few more on that, but give or take. Look, the competitive aspect of it, a new sport, the greatest of all time under that rule set. Again, more external doubt. I love it. Give it to me. Give me all that doubt. Tell me I can't do something. Tell me I'm not gonna cross over and make that jump into a completely new sport. Not only against some random guy,
but
against the damn best.
Yes.
So it was just my competitive nature. Of course, the financial benefits and the notoriety was great.
Sure.
But
how did you get him to do it? Because it was your idea, right?
Well, we just continued to poke at it. It just happened, It happened naturally. I went in on his terms. I fought him under his rules. Originally, the promise was, I'll fight him his game. He fights me my game.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of him since. I haven't heard from him since. So we'll see what happens. But I would love another go in the boxing arena. We spoke briefly about it outside. Yeah. Floyd Mayweather is known for his Philly shell defensive style of fighting. He has his right arm tucked in, his left. Sorry, he's an orthodox, so it's the opposite. But he has one arm tucked in at his belly and one arm kept up by his ear. And he uses his shoulder to deflect shots. He's a back-footed fighter. He fights on the back foot. That's what I prepared for, because that's all I had seen of him. My sparring partners were fighters on the back foot, fighters defensive, leaning against the ropes. And then when I went into the fight in the early rounds, I was whooping him in the early rounds. It was actually, I went back to my corner after the first round and said, this is easy. I literally said that to my corner man, this is easy. And then he had to switch up his style. Now you've got to respect that, because that's what a crafty veteran can do. He can switch up his style. He switched it to that old Mexican boxing style. The Mexican boxing style is where you put your elbows in tight, this knuckle, you put it just above the forehead and connect it and walk forward with heavy pressure. He'd never fought like that in his entire career, but he was forced to fight that way because he was getting beaten when he was fighting his old way. And the approach caught me off guard. I was not prepared for it. I was not used to it. And he walked me down and ended up getting the stoppage. The referee, I felt, could have let the fight go. I would have liked to see the end of the round, get my breathing back, get a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. But I know he's not going to come into my game, but I would love to rematch him under boxing rules again and have that knowledge and have my sparring partners come forward with that style also and see where we go. And I believe I would win. Actually, there I go again with a fake humbleness. I know I would win. That's
fucking awesome. Well, it was your longest fight of your career too, right? I mean, you were in incredible shape.
Yeah, 22 minutes it was. So that was another focus on the camp, to go from 5 5-minute rounds, which is 25 minutes, to